So it's very nice to meet you here. How was your thanks? How was your trip to Bremen?
It was a very long one.
Okay.
So I live in Vancouver in British Columbia. So we traveled a long time. Like we flew to Frankfurt and then took the train. It's a whole day of travel, but it was good. It was good, yeah.
And then you played your concert here. How was that?
That's right. Yeah, we played yesterday. We were the first showcase, and that was pretty great. I really enjoyed it, and we got amazing response from the audience, and it was great. I'm, as I said before, I'm very jet-lagged, so I was before a bit worried that I won't be able to do it, but it went really well. So I'm very happy with that. Yeah,
that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
And then you told me just a tiny thing already, but I would want to know more. So I wanted to ask you about your current project. What is right now the most important thing to you musically? And maybe you can tell us a bit about it and also show the beautiful things you showed me already.
Absolutely. So this, well, maybe I'll start this album I released in 2019, so just before the pandemic. And Mi Alegría is a kind of, I would say, a family album, because the drawing is my son's drawing. He was 11 when he did it. So there's a song for him. A lullaby I wrote for my son. His name is Yali, so it's Yali's lullaby. And there's a song for my daughter. Her name is Mia, and the title is Mi Alegría, Mia Alegría. So it's a kind of, it means my happiness. Mm-hmm. So, this album has different musicians in it, some guest musicians, mostly based on the trio. Mm-hmm. And with some more musicians, so some solo pieces, some trios, some quartets, some quintets. So and since then, the pandemic arrived, and I just finished recording my new album, and now it's in the mixing stage. It's finishing the mixing stage. So. New compositions, new songs, so that's I'm really excited about this. And yesterday we performed a bunch of tunes from the new album, and also a couple from here. So yeah,
that sounds exciting. And then I'm also very happy to hear that after the pandemic, you are back, seem to be back to everything, and you're excited, right, to keep on.
Right. Thankfully in Canada we have the support of the Canada Council, so they supported us to come here for the showcase. And also during the pandemic, I applied for some financial support for to learn new things. So I learned about digital music and all kinds of things that I could do without performing live in person. Yeah. So that was a big learning experience. So it was good. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. But there's nothing replacing real interaction with audience and playing for real live people. That's
And for the people as well, the audience, is very happy to have you back. And do you have plans for Germany? Do you plan a tour and you want to come back?
For sure. Well, I played many times in Germany in the past. So actually the last tour I did was with International Guitar Nights just before the pandemic. So it was 2019. And so we played everywhere. I love playing in Germany. The audience is great, very receptive. And being here, I'm making contacts with different people, and definitely I would like to come back here and play more. Yeah. Exactly.
That's amazing. You will. It's so nice. Thank you, I guess.
Thanks so much for inviting me. Absolutely. Thank you.
And enjoy your time here today.
Thanks very much. Take care.
So it's very, very nice to have you. And my first actual question before I welcome you to Bremen is, how do I pronounce your beautiful band name?
Oh, Silvervest. Oh, like one word, not Silvervest, but Silvervest.
That's surprisingly simple. And how did your trip to Bremen go?
Great. We drove from Berlin, and it's fine. Long. We've been here since the 20th of April. We were in Graz and Villach, and then we went to Berlin and played with some friends. And so it's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to be playing again and talking to people. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's also great to meet other musicians from Montreal that I never get a chance to see when we're at home. I'm like, oh, hey, nice to meet you.
So you met here then?
Yes, I'm meeting people here. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, you're the guy who plays every Friday at Diazones or whatever, you know?
But the jazz world, it's small, right?
It seems, in this context, it seems pretty small, you know? But it's, at the same time, it seems also like, we have to be on the other side of the world to meet our neighbors, you know what I mean? At the same time.
It's not small, it's exclusive.
Exclusive.
Speaking of, would you tell me something about your current program or project or the thing you're promoting right now?
Yeah. Well, we're looking for a booker, we're looking for a label. So we have albums that we produced ourselves. One that's in a bag. And then in his pocket. Yeah. So we got one here that we launched a couple of years ago, but it was the same year that the pandemic started. So everything, of course, got And we have another one we just made a demo for that we're looking for, to shop around a little bit. What else can I say about our project? Other than we both happen to really love it. And
Then I'm gonna ask, how would you describe it, like for people who did not hear it yet? However you like to describe it.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's original compositions, first of all. It doesn't. Of course, we're talking about jazz because we're in a context of this, but of course we don't believe in the existence of jazz or anything like that. We're really relying on using any resources that are available, and anything that comes out of us we accept or we reject, but everything is welcome until it's not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it comes out of the Black American experience. The words, right? You tell the stories.
Yeah.
And I just kind of go boom, 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 boom.
No, if you do that, you do it with so much finesse and so much tonality, and he's fantastic. It's quite clear to me that I've been singing for a long time, but the project that we have really comes so deeply out of working with him. Like, I don't know if I would access the same things with other people, and I haven't actually. So, I love you, buddy. You're awesome.
So voice, double bass, and it seems to be very personal. Maybe you want to share like a few topics that are important to you, that you live out through music, or
Yeah. I can say something that I find interesting. A lot of the more personal things that come up in these lyrics, they started because about 6 years ago I met my real father for the first time. And as it turns out, he's also a singer, right? And so when we talked for the first time, he's like, oh, I happen to, be working on this autobiography. I was like, what luck, you know what I mean? What luck. And so I thought to myself in that moment, I was like, oh, I would love to return the same, you know, like, you know, here's the stories of my life that you don't know about. But, you know, they have come about, you know, through music and through, you know, sound instead of written word. And so that's kind of the inspiration for a lot of it. And also, like, I'm such a journal person, like, you know, it's... you know, it's like, well, and another thing, blah, 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 like this, you know, and luckily he can tolerate that.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, I don't understand it often, but it is interesting, you know, compelling.
How long do you play together?
Since, what, 2016?
Yeah, okay.
Something like that. 2016, yeah.
6 years.
6 years, just almost, yeah, this summer or something, it will be 6 years, I think so, you know?
Yeah, we have we meet regularly, we meet weekly and just jam, play, improvise, record it, listen to it, talk about it. Sometimes some of the pieces came out incomplete as improvisations.
Yeah.
And we just learned them again. So this is it's a regular process, we're friends. It's not necessarily a professional project so much as a practice.
Right, in that sense of, you know, we can meet at, you know, his kitchen or my house and we'll meet that way because it feels good to us, not necessarily like, okay, well, you know, we're meeting just to make music to show. It's like, kind of like, this is, and you know, it's like some people go play Frisbee together, you know, and we'll go ahead and be like, okay, let's have some tea and then make music.
That sounds amazing to me. I think it's very rare in today's world. So it sounds really like...
I feel pretty grateful, you know?
Yeah, me too. I think right from the beginning we wanted to maintain the feeling that we were like children playing in the sand or something like that, and not be working and just be like doing, put this there, put that there, just act like children, really.
Yeah, and it's. I think we're true to that. Yeah.
So with that CD, are you planning to come back to Germany or to Europe?
Yeah,
as much as possible. Yeah.
I mean, we'll be back next year. We played in Villach. We were invited back next year immediately. So I feel like we'll be here on a regular basis. I would like that. It's nice.
And yesterday at the end of the show, I met somebody who from Budapest. They're like, next time you come, call us. And I was like, great. You know, and another person who would like to invite me to like a poetry reading. I'm like, you know, so we'll come back.
Yeah, you will. You definitely will. That's so nice. So I don't know if you wanna tell us another secret or something. You are very welcome. But I wanted to wish you a very good time here. And it was very nice that you gave this interview and talked about this amazing album. And we hope to see you again, maybe next year here or wherever we meet. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm super happy to meet you. And how was your trip to Bremen?
The trip itself was very long. I was coming from Los Angeles, where I'm playing. So it was like 3 flights, and now we're almost done. So it's great.
How could you play like that? Like, how was your performance? How did you feel?
I felt wonderful about the performance, actually, and the hall sounded beautiful, and it was very well attended, and the audience was receptive. It was everything you could ask for.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. So the jet lag doesn't exist when you're on adrenaline. when you're pumped up. Yeah.
That's great. Happy to hear that because everyone says that it was kind of hard to readjust to the time, but you can pull it off, no doubt.
Yeah.
And tell me, please, what's your current project? Like, what are you doing and promoting right now at the time? What's important?
that's funny, and I'm sure a lot of people have this problem where the project we were promoting in 2020 is now 2 years old. We'll be 3 years old soon. So that's what I was promoting, and I'm recording a fourth album in August. So that is what I will be promoting for the rest of 2022 is new material with the same group. So the group that was promoted last night is the same one going forward.
And how would you describe your music, or what's the most important thing for you, like stylistically? What do you focus on? What's the most fun, I guess?
I mean, like I'm a child of pop music, and I don't try to hide that anymore. So fun groove. Stylistically, like whatever is fun. I don't know how else to describe that. I don't think I'm a particularly introspective or intellectual musician. It's just trying to be, like an expression of joy. That's all.
And is that what you're focusing on, like with your new album that you're recording? You have,
well, funnily, and I'm sure a lot of people have this story. During the pandemic, when we were unable to perform, became a time of like, meditation for very many musicians. So I wrote a lot. That was my means of grieving the situation and of coping with the situation was to write, because it was a way to express hope for the future, right? That I could eventually play these in public again. So the new material is that. It's like grief, but
grief, but in a fun way.
Fun grief. I painted myself into a corner with that. Sorry, but
No, it's. I kind of understand because jazz is also so many things that seem contradictory, maybe, but for us, it's kind of natural.
And it's abstract music. You're trying to express, frankly, complicated feelings that we all got to experience: grief, hope, and anticipation, anxiety for the future. So that's what it is. And I took a lot of with the new writing, decided very much to stop being nervous about its presentation and try to write things that are simple and authentic and close to like my pop heart, without trying to be too jazz. I wanted to find my own voice in this new album.
Great. So you write and you play, and can I ask you something about the industry in the place where you work? I bet you travel a lot, but how is it? Like, do you feel supported? Can you make things work, or how hard is it to produce an album?
In Canada, there's a lot of financial support to record album. I mean, as a means of like promoting its national culture, Canada cares about that, and they're willing to support artists. So I have provincial and federal support to make this fourth album, which is amazing, and municipal support as well. So I feel very supported. Touring in Canada is somewhat difficult because it's so large. The travel costs are enormous, but I'm currently traveling with a musical as a sort of, which is still playing and it's still music, and it certainly like subsidizes a lot of personal artistic endeavors. So within the large umbrella music business, there's a way to thrive in North America. I feel very well supported.
That's great. That's always interesting for us because we are in our own environment. We are used to what we know, so it's very interesting to get to know each other's
scenes,
work environment. It's also very important. And what about Germany and Europe? Will you come back? What are your plans?
Well, that's sort of the goal of being here, is to be able to create, like new audiences, new markets. But like the audiences here are very receptive to jazz. There's not as much, and I've only done the one showcase, but I would love to come back because they are so receptive, because there's a relaxation in the audience that kind of doesn't exist. Well, not doesn't exist, but is more rare in Canada, where you have to pander a little bit more and win over, clubs and bars sort of thing. Whereas here they like jazz. I don't know how else to put that.
Thank you for the insight. It's also very enlightening. We didn't know, probably. That's so great. So then you will make it happen.
Yeah.
And I wish you a good time here after your concert, like networking, or I don't know what's your plan.
Yeah, networking. And we chatted about this earlier. Like, I'm not very good at networking because I am a generally nervous person. And that's why I play instrumental jazz over on a trombone. So, yeah, meeting people is going to be very, very interesting for me.
Well, just bring your instrument then and just play instead of. Thanks a lot. I enjoyed this a lot, and I hope to see you later, maybe somewhere here.
Agreed. Likewise.
Good. Thanks a lot. Hi. It's super nice to meet you, and we would like to know first, how do you feel here? Like, how was your travels, and how did you, survive the long distance flight? Or
The travel's been great. We've actually been here for a few days. Prior to being a jazzahead, we played Ronnie Scott's in London and played Bird in Rotterdam as well. And it's been a great experience, having the band here. It's our first time coming with this project, to Europe. So it's been amazing. The jet lag hasn't hit us too hard, but we had an amazing show last night at Jazzahead, and just very excited to be here.
That sounds great. Maybe you tell us or me something about the current project, and
So the current project, we're called the Larnell Lewis Band, and we're touring a record called Relive the Moment, which is a reimagination of my first record, but the compositions are stories of situations that I've gone through in my life where, you learn lessons. And I love to trap these lessons in music, song, composition form, which, I think artists are doing often, reflecting their situations, reflecting the times. But touring this record out here for the first time has been amazing.
And when did you write the music, and what period of your life, or like?
Yeah, so some of these songs were written as far back as 15 years ago. And, being still in the same realm as my debut record, In the Moment, songs were written up until about 2018, right? And so reimagining them for Relive the Moment. And I actually have a new record coming out in 2023 called Unearthed. But the music overall, as far as sound, is a mix between funk, jazz, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Brazilian music.
And I know you do many things like in music industry, but also musically. What do you enjoy the most personally?
Hitting the drums. I enjoy being able to express myself through music on the drums. And for all the things that I love doing, I teach at a college, Humber College. I work with Drumeo as well as a coach. And I mentor a lot of musicians, and I love mentoring, but my first love and passion is just existing in a band context and making music and connecting with people and communicating through music.
And when and how did you get into the jazz world? Can you even remember the starting point?
Absolutely, I can remember the starting point. So for me, my dad introduced me to jazz, and it was a music where, he would show me drummers like Max Roach and tell me stories about Art Blakey, and, talk to me about Oscar Peterson, especially since I'm Canadian, but of Caribbean descent, which is the same story for Oscar Peterson. And so getting all that kind of information and having an understanding of that heritage and lineage really helped. But then in high school, that was further, added to. And then I went to college for music as well. So I would say about age 13, but it was already played in the house, like hearing Ella Fitzgerald Christmas album and stuff like that.
And what are your plans for Europe or for Germany even?
Yeah. So my plans are to be here as long as possible.
No, you just say that. No.
But I love being in Europe, and working with the band is great for this week. And we're here just meeting as many people as possible, as everyone is, getting the connections, and then building a circuit, building a community, and inserting ourselves into as many situations so that we can continue to allow the music to thrive and grow, because not only is there a scene in Canada, which is great, but when we cross the pond, having friends, having connections, having a community built here really makes it easy to grow the music, because the more chances you have to play, the more audiences, is the more you can see the music evolve. And that's something I experienced with Snarky Puppy. Yeah.
It sounds so great.
Thank you.
And I hope that you will enjoy the rest of this day and the rest of your stay.
Absolutely.
It's super nice to talk to you.
Yeah, you as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And then, thanks a lot. And we see you around, right?
Absolutely, I'll be around.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Welcome, and it's so nice that we get to talk. I was reading about you. You make so many things happen. That's amazing. And I wanted to ask you, maybe because you're a musician, but you're also organized a lot. And I wanted to know maybe a bit more about the industry and how does it work? How do you work? And how do you make things happen? Maybe you talk about yourself and what you do right now.
Okay. So basically, how do I make things happen? I don't sleep. It's a lot of work. I lead many different projects, many different bands. It goes from solo piano to large ensemble, big bands, trios, quartet, quintet, septet. I love writing music. And so when I make a project, I make sure that the project has a life, so I do my own booking, I produce my own album, so it's a lot of work, but this is the life that I chose, and I'm really happy doing it. And the industry, it's always rough, it's always difficult, it's not gonna get better, so we need to be perseverant and very passionate and very dedicated. And the project that I presented here this year, that new duo project with John Hollenbeck on drums and I'm on piano and composition, is a very original and exciting project. So I'm happy to work so that this project has a life and can tour and bring the music to people, Yeah.
And may I ask you, what's your goal for this year? What are you focusing on right now as a musician, but also you said that you organize tours and you work a lot for other artists. So if that's happening at the same time, maybe you tell us something about that.
Yes. So basically for this year, I'm looking for a label for that new duet. That would be fantastic. There are labels in Canada that I worked with, but I would love to work with a label outside of Canada. And also I would love to tour in Germany. That would be really the main goal for this year. So I'm trying to meet as many people as I can, network, and know a little bit more about the scene here in Germany. Yeah.
Great. I wanted to ask you about Germany actually, but then let's hope that our industry is somehow manageable and understandable. And maybe I always wonder, and we wonder, how is it different? What do you experience right now from Europe or maybe from Germany and what you're used to? Are there big differences or is it more or less?
I mean, the big difference is the distances. Because, for example, in Canada, if you want to tour, you have to take a plane almost every day to for many hours because the country is so big, So if you want to tour across the country, either you take your car and it takes a month. But here it's very interesting in Europe because everything is close. So it makes touring in a way a little easier. Like you're in a city and you can travel easily to another city very quickly. In Canada, it's different. Like you can drive for example, in Quebec, the province of Quebec, you can drive for 12 hours and you're still in Quebec, you know. So that's a different way of. But I have to say, I'm still new to the European market. I'm still learning it. I did 2 European tours, but I'm still, learning the scene and the market. Yeah.
That sounds great. I wish you the best of luck. And we will see you again. And enjoy the jazzahead, and like meet the right people and you, yeah.
All right.
Thanks a lot for this interview.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, and it's super nice to meet you. And how is your stay in Bremen right now? Like, how was your travel, and how did you spend your time so far?
Well, we were touring a little bit before we got here, so we came from California, and then played a concert in Mers first, and then we came here. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind of travel, but Bremen is so beautiful, and there's just so much energy right now at this festival, and so we're just having a blast. Yeah.
That sounds great. And what project are you promoting right now?
Yeah, we played last night in a showcase. The project is a quartet called Super Sense, and the whole premise of the project is I composed pieces in collaboration with a scent artist, and so there are scents that go with the sound, and so the record has scratch and sniff stickers that go with it, but the scents are really sort of strange things that you can't really put your finger on, and the idea is, will these scents bring us a little closer to the music? And we had these scents in the studio. The record had a little different personnel. Jason Moran was on piano, and Kenny Willison on drums, and Stomu on bass, Stomi Takeshi. And so we had a different personnel last night, just because touring schedules with everybody is pretty crazy right now. But that's the idea of the project. It's a pretty interesting idea to be pairing smells with music, especially in a time of Corona, which makes it, it really makes you question this idea of being together. And, the record, there's certain things you can't digitize. And, for me, I'm arguing you can't digitize scent, you can't buy smells on iTunes, but maybe we should start thinking how much music gets lost when we digitize that as well, and out of this vibration that we make together, with music. So that's the premise of the project, and
Is that the thought that came first, maybe, for that? Or I wanted to know how did it? I mean, at some point you must have thought, wow, this is what I'm gonna do right now. No, like.
Yeah, well, the thought actually came from, I was watching a concert, and I was in the audience, I was feeling really close to the musician playing, and then right near the end of the set, and I'm sure we've had this experience when you go to a bar, but they turned on the air conditioner, and it got really cold in the room, and suddenly it felt like I was so close to the artist, and then it was like I could zoom out, like just the temperature in the room changed my relationship to the artist and to the music. So I started thinking about what's in the air. This is before COVID. Yeah. Now we're all thinking about that. But I started really thinking about the space and how that really affects our experience with the music, and started really questioning, well, what is the music? Well, the music is the space. And so if I could compose a project that really explored space in that way, in terms of exploring the air around us while we're playing. And so in the studio, all the artists, we had all these boxes with different scents. And so in the music, we'd be playing, and then the music would say, open box number 3, and let that suddenly be in the space. And how would that affect the improvising that happened when we had this other sort of structure in the air, along with the music that we were putting in the air? So, so that idea kind of happened a few years ago. And then the label thought they would put it out during COVID, which I thought the timing at first felt like the worst time possible. But then in some ways, I think it was really nice because a lot of people we missed being together and connecting with music in a live way. And so this record was a way to kind of, you could scratch this and have the air have some information that would be with the music. So, yeah.
That sounds amazing and very unique too. And what are your plans for the near future, this year maybe? What do you think?
I have my latest project is almost complete right here. No, but I have another record that I'm editing, so we're going to master that pretty soon, and I think that's going to come out in early 2023, and we'll start touring that project. So it's with a similar band from Supersense. So that's the latest.
But are you, maybe I'm asking too much and it's still a secret, but are you developing that idea, or is it a new idea that you're developing in that music? Yeah,
I think I'm... the Scent project, we're leaving that as is for now. I think we might come back to it, but I let that be its own. I want that to be its own project and have its own life. And so this new record is actually more compositional explorations and how to write and create music that isn't necessarily so linear. And so that's kind of the premise of that. It's a quartet record. And then I'm working on another project that's actually going to be working with a lot of electronics and kind of a little bit more funk based. So it's a total departure from a lot of the more experimental, free records that I've done. And this is a lot more groove oriented, sampling and working with a modular synthesizer. And so, so I'm looking forward to kind of continuing to explore. Yeah.
I mean, best of luck. You will. It was very insightful, and thanks a lot. We're gonna see more of you, I think, in these days and in the future. We are waiting for everything that you do. Thanks a lot, really.
Thank you so much.
I'm very excited to meet you. I know your music, you make a lot of things happen, and I wanted to know what's your current program, what's your project that you are promoting right now? What are you excited about?
Well, we're still pushing Out of Dust, which was released 2 years ago, but it was released on March 27th of 2020, right after the pandemic hit. And so the tour that we had scheduled for that spring here in Europe, we're finally fulfilling now. But of course, I have another album now already in the can. In fact, almost 2 albums. And so those will be coming out in the coming months. Yeah.
That's exciting. Everything at the same time, I understand.
I probably will do some singles. One of them is actually arrangements of standards from the Great American Songbook, which I haven't done in a long time. I've done more original music or covers of pop writers and what I call the Great Canadian Songbook. So this will be a kind of a return to my early roots as a jazz musician. And then I have a winter songs project that'll be an album. So
you're telling us all your secrets.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. We will not tell anyone. No, we will. But actually, so then I was wondering, how do you decide what to do musically next? What drives you?
I always have ideas for concepts. And then when I go to write, when I sit down to write, I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but I see where the muse leads. So when I wrote the Winter Songs project, I was in Banff, Alberta, which is nestled in the Rocky Mountains. Wow. It was the end of November and early December, so surrounded by snow and deer frolicking around and ice. And so I felt really inspired to write about winter and the Canadian experience of winter. Yeah. So it's very much what I'm surrounded by, responding to the moment.
Yeah. But I think that might be a very comforting answer, because then it's actually something very emotional, right? And very honest.
That's right. Honesty, authenticity for me is paramount to creating music that will connect with people. Because if it's coming from an authentic place, I think people can sense that, you know?
Yeah.
So for me, that's a super high priority.
That's great. And what are your plans for this visit, like the Jazzahead?
Yeah. Well, we're on tour. So we performed already in Berlin and Stuttgart and Fulda and Herford and München. So all over Germany. And here at Jazzahead, I'm performing at Die Glocke. It's the gala concert with Malika Tirolien, representing Canada, the partner country this year. So that for me is very exciting. I led a panel discussion this morning on what is jazz in Canada. Big question.
And
What is jazz in Canada? And people, you know, were engaged. We showed a video that was quite long, and there were panelists from major jazz festivals like the the International Festival de Jazz de Montréal and Toronto Jazz Festival, and basically discussing what is jazz in Canada and how some people have a very specific concept of what jazz is, the public, but it's a narrow concept. And so it's our job as jazz ambassadors and musicians and presenters to broaden people's experience and concept of jazz, because we believe everybody's a jazz fan. It sounds, again, a little bit corny, but we really believe it. It's just that they don't know it yet. So that was what that conversation was about. And and then just trying to make new connections here at Jazzahead, like all of us. So.
do you enjoy the networking? I mean,
I do. You know what's tricky? Because I have a show tonight, I have to a little bit conserve my energy. So it's a tough balance, but tomorrow I have the day off and I'm going to be meeting with as many people as I can. I have a couple of interviews, but other than that, I'm going to be making the rounds. So, yeah.
that's so great. I mean, then we're even more honored that you're talking to us today, like before the gig. And
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
it's so nice. I'm really happy about this conversation. We're going to hear a lot from you. We're very excited for everything that's, you know, coming. And I hope that you will enjoy tonight. For sure.
Thank you.
And
Dankeschön.
it's so nice. Thanks a lot. And we're going to see you later, I guess.
Excellent. Bis bald.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome. It's super nice to have you here. We were waiting for this conversation because we are very excited to hear about what you do, and you do a lot for music and for jazz. And it would be nice if you tell us something about it.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm delighted. So I run a venue in Canada, in Calgary, Alberta, called Buckingham Palace. And it really came out of a family initiative where we wanted to provide a home for touring musicians to play. Excuse me. So we opened our home. It's a house concert venue. It's in an old 1910 house, which is old by Canadian standards. So we can seat 60 guests. And we're now run by a not-for-profit because we became very popular. And our mandate is to provide an enthusiastic listening environment for musicians and also treat them with the hospitality and respect that they deserve. So people can stay at our house, we feed them, we have a hang afterwards, and we host these concerts where people get to share their music. So it's been awesome to be involved in that.
That sounds just amazing. And but it's jazz in a jazz environment or other?
It's entirely jazz. When we first started, we started in 2016, and it took some time to develop an audience. So we started a little bit broader than jazz, and then narrowed our focus so that we could do just jazz. Exclusively jazz, and almost entirely touring artists. A lot of Canadian artists. I'm here because I'm hoping that we can plug into more female-led international artists, because gender parity is very close to my heart as well. And so we want to be able to showcase and promote women artists in particular.
So you are the project is growing, and you want to have more and different artists, right?
Exactly.
At your house, it's still that from 2016.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we have to move the furniture every time we host a concert. It's crazy. But I've ended up with much lighter furniture than I had when I first started. And yeah, it's in the house. We have a great backline. We have a lovely Yamaha grand piano. We have a great drum kit. We have a PA system. So we did everything right because my dad used to say that a workman is worthy of his tools. And if you are going to host musicians, you need to allow them to show their best. And so that's our mandate, is to want to provide a beautiful environment where their music is going to shine. And given that it's a largely acoustic environment, because it's small, I think that's when jazz is best. It's intimate and passionate, and it's unfiltered. There's the PA there if you need it, but most of the time people don't.
Yeah, it is probably an event that everyone remembers for a long time. I bet the musicians, the audience, and you must also have nice memories from all the evenings you hosted. It sounds very sweet. And then you said you have another,
Another hat that I wear.
Yes. It was so nice. Then tell us about that, please.
Yeah, this is a recent hat that I wear, coming out of a love for jazz music and also the interest in gender parity. I manage a group called the Ostara Project, and this is 7 award-winning, top-tier Canadian female jazz artists, all of whom are composers and band leaders in their own right. Between them all, they have 9 Juno nominations, which is our highest award in Canada for music. And they've come together to form a supergroup. I did during COVID, because concerts shut down, I received some funding from the Canadian government to do a documentary on the challenges faced by female jazz musicians. And this was the group that did that with me. And afterwards, it was such a wonderfully bonding and supportive community that we formed, that they are carrying on as a group, and they asked me to manage them. So there we are. We sort of move into the future. It's a learning curve that I'm having to scale, but I'm very excited about it because their music is excellent and their souls are wonderful. So it's a lovely group to be part of.
And what plans do you have for Europe or for Germany, maybe?
Well, I very much hope that we could do a European tour, and I think Germany would be a great place to start. You have such interesting and exciting music coming out of Germany. I flew into Berlin, and that city is just alive with so many options for music, and so I have great respect for what Germany has been able to promote in the culture, and I know that there's throughout Europe there's also this desire to want to be promoting gender parity. We have the Key Change. You have the Key Change movement here, and we're a signatory of that as Buckingham Palace. So I'm getting a warm reception from the people that I speak to, and I would love to bring these great female Canadian artists because they're wonderful role models, and I hope that we could share that kind of modeling with the German people as well.
Please do.
Thank you.
Soon.
Well, we're working on it. I hope that we could tour in 2024. That's my plan.
We will be waiting.
Thank you. Well, I'll look for you in the audience.
Yeah, I will. I will be. Yeah. I will be very loud and No, that's very sweet. And thanks so much. We will be. Yeah, we will show people where to find you.
Thank you.
Support
we
it.
have a good website, and so does the Ostara Project, and we're on social media. We're very active. So look forward to continuing conversations that are broader now because of Jazzahead.
Thanks so much, and enjoy your day. I'm very happy to meet you, and I wanted to ask you, maybe you could introduce yourself. And I know that you do a lot of very important things for the jazz scene, and I wanted to know what exactly and what are you doing right now?
Should I hold this?
You can take it, but I can also hold it. It's okay. Whatever's comfortable.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Yes. My name is Claudine Cinq-Mars. I am the coordinator of the Canada and Quebec Jazz Delegation at Jazzahead. I work at the Conseil Québécois de la Musique, which is an association of musicians and ensemble in Quebec, which is a province of Canada. And we represent generally concert music, so classical music, jazz, traditional musics of the world. But more specifically for jazz, we coordinate this delegation and try to make the most opportunities for Quebecois artists, but also since 2020, as Canada is partner country, for the whole Canada.
Great. And maybe a bit more specific so we can picture it. What was part of your job? What did you do and how did it turn out? Are you happy with how it actually took place? And
yes, well, this year Canada is partner country, so it was collaboration of many organizations. So there's a CQM, there's the Canadian Association of Independent Music, there's the Canada Council for the Arts, and the Embassy of Canada in Germany, and we all worked together to bring this special edition. We organized many activities this year. That was one of the perks of the pandemic, if I can say, because we had 2 more years to prepare. So we have sessions in the Canada Lounge, and we had a session in the conference room as well, with all the showcases, cocktails. We have 2 club nights as well. So these are all the activities that we do. So you wanted me to tell you more specifically about musicians or the...
Oh, that would be interesting too. That was the question, but maybe, that, and also a little view into the future, because from here on, you're going to take it somewhere, and we want to know where.
Well, that's a good question, because as I said, it's a collaboration. Usually, Quebec Jazz has its own stand at jazzahead, and CIMA, which is the Canadian Association, they have their own stand. So we are still discussing whether we will keep collaborating next year. So I couldn't really, confirm this information at this point. But of course, we always work together to organize activities. Even if we have 2 separate stands, they're all always next to each other. But we are hoping that this year, with all that we have organized and everything that is happening, that Canada will remain, in everyone's minds in the coming years. And so we can create relationships and collaborations as well. Before jazzahead started, before the trade fair started, we organized networking sessions, informal Zoom meetings with other delegations. So we had one with France, we had one with Switzerland and Italy. We are discussing with other countries to keep this going in the coming years. So I think this is something very positive that we've been doing, this year, and that will, hopefully continue.
And maybe more in Germany, and I hope that there will be a collaboration, on distance maybe first, but then you could come and bring some musicians to Germany again, or is it not part of your plan? What do you think?
Well, we organize a club night that is Quebec Jazz. So this is an operation that we want to keep doing as part of a jazzahead delegation. Then for the other activities, our main focus as the coordinator of the stand or of the delegation is very specific around jazzahead. So we don't have operations in Germany all year long. But of course, that's why developing collaborations is interesting, so we can see and put other things into place.
I mean, it's a lot, and it's so amazing that you do this. I hope you also sleep sometimes, because it sounds like, no.
I don't, yes.
I didn't want to, I was afraid to ask because I had already intuition about that. But but it's amazing, and the music is so beautiful, and we need to hear it. And thank you for that. We're gonna hear a lot more, and also today and tomorrow there's gonna be more music, right?
Yes, well, there were the 8 Canadian showcases yesterday, and tomorrow we have 2 club nights. So there's a Quebec Jazz Club Night at Charlust, and there's also a Canada Club Night at the Theater Bremen. So that's 2 other evenings. Tonight there's the gala with Laila Biali and Malika Tirolien. So we still have, some things going on. And we are working with a publicist here, which is Judith Kobus, and she's helping us a lot as well to give, these opportunities for the artists as well. So we are hoping that this will bring, repercussions for the artists as well, to help them touring more in Germany specifically, and German-speaking countries.
So great. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's very nice to meet you. I've listened to your music, and I want to know everything about it, and we need to start with something. So what's your current project? What do you promote right now, and maybe even here?
Very nice to meet you too. I'm Malika Tirolien. I live in Montreal, but I'm from Guadeloupe. And right now I'm here in Jazzahead for the first time in Bremen. We're really excited, and we're here to really play the music from my second album, Higher, which came out last year, but came out this year, I think a week ago in Germany. Yeah.
And I was reading and also listening to it, like it's a new genre basically. Tell us something about it.
Yeah, it's we had this idea because this album was co-produced with my colleague, the founder of Snarky Puppy and Bocante, and while working with that, on the album, we wanted to have like a specific sound because the album is the second installment of a tetralogy, and it represents air. The first one was earth. This one is air. So we wanted really to feel that in the music. And so we called the music high soul, which is a mix of like R&B, soul, jazz, hip hop, and a little bit of psychedelic.
So if there's two and there's supposed to be a third one, may I ask about the future? Or is it a secret now?
No, it's like it's out. There's a third one and a fourth one. So it's a tetralogy. So it's 4 albums, and so with fire and water. So we're working on that right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yes. So releasing and also working on new music that's going to be released anytime soon, I guess.
Well, we never know when it's gonna be released, but we started to work on it already. And with my other project, Bocante, with my colleague, we just finished recording our third album, so it's gonna be released before the third installment of the tetralogy.
But it's including you and your music, so the order is maybe not necessarily.
Yeah, like it's still music that we are releasing, but it's like different projects all the time. Yeah.
And what are your plans for Europe or for Germany even?
Well, we played last night in Dortmund, and we're playing tonight for the Jazzahead conference at the Gala. We're playing right after Laila Biali. Which is really cool because she's a great artist, and so we're gonna do that showcase, and then after that we're gonna go back to Canada and go to Miami to play at the Ground Up Festival in Miami.
That's great. I hope to see and hear you in Germany more often in the future. Please come and play your music. We need it.
Oh my God, I love Germany, and I hope we are going to be back. My band we're totally having a blast, and so we really want to come back. So we hope the people will like the music tonight, so they can invite us back.
Yeah, I wish you a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you.